Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On the occasion of World Environment Day, Science Club AMD headquarters takes immense pleasure to welcome you all in this special commemorative lecture. On this significant occasion, we extend a very warm and hearty welcome to our respected directors, Sri Dheeraj Pandey, Additional Director R&D, Srimati Meenakshi Sundari, Additional Director Operations 1, Sri S.K. Dash, Additional Director Operations 2, Sri Bhaskar Basu, esteemed regional directors joining us from various regions of AMD, and to all our participants present here in the auditorium as well as those connected virtually. Today, the AMD Science Club is elevated by the presence of a true luminary in the scientific community. It is a moment of profound pride for us to welcome Dr. Rajiv Nigam to our institution. Sir, we are deeply grateful to you for gracing this virtual platform today. Now, to formally commence our celebrations and share his insights on this significant global occasion, I now request our respected director, Sri Dheeraj Pandey, to address the gathering. Sir, please.
Namaskar, good afternoon, Dr. Nigam and all my colleagues. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to today's program organized by AMD on the occasion of World Environment Day. World Environment Day, observed globally every year on 5th June, serves as a reminder of our collective responsibility towards protecting the environment and ensuring sustainable development. At a time when the world is facing unprecedented challenges arising out of climate change, biodiversity loss, land degradation, pollution, and increasing pressure on natural resources, the need for informed scientific interventions and environmentally responsible actions has never been greater. As a premier organization entrusted with the exploration and augmentation of atomic and associated critical minerals, essential for the country's long-term energy security, AMD recognizes that mineral resource development and environmental protection are complementary objectives. Sustainable exploration practices, scientific land use planning, environmental monitoring, resource efficiency, and restoration of ecosystems are fundamental to responsible mineral exploration. Pursuit of clean energy, including nuclear power, itself reflects a broader commitment towards reducing carbon emissions and achieving sustainable growth while meeting the developmental aspirations of the nation. The Earth preserves within its rocks, sediments, oceans, glaciers, and landscapes a remarkable archive of environmental change spanning millions of years. Understanding these natural records is critical for deciphering past climatic fluctuations, evaluating present-day environmental processes, and anticipating future changes. In this endeavor, geosciences play a pivotal role by providing the scientific foundation necessary for sustainable management of Earth's resources and environment. In this context, I am delighted to welcome Dr. Rajiv Nigam, an eminent marine geoscientist, renowned micropaleontologist, and former chief scientist of the National Institute of Oceanography, NIO, Goa, who has made outstanding contributions to the field of micropaleontology, paleoceanography, and climate research. His extensive work on marine sediments and microfossils has significantly enhanced our understanding of past environmental and climatic changes and their implications for the present and future. Dr. Nigam is the first and the only Indian citizen to receive the coveted J.A. Cushman Award from the Cushman Foundation, USA, which recognizes lifetime achievement in foraminiferal research. Today's lecture on microfossils and marine sediments from India, understanding the past, present, and future environments, is particularly relevant on this occasion as it highlights how microscopic records preserved in the marine sediments can provide invaluable insights into the environmental evolution, climate variability, sea level changes, and ecosystem responses over geological timescales. Such studies not only help us reconstruct Earth history, but also improve our understanding of future environmental scenarios. I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Nigam and thank him for accepting our invitation and sharing his valuable insights with the officers and scientists of AMD. I am confident that his lecture will be highly informative and intellectually enriching for all the participants. With these words, I welcome Dr. Rajiv Nigam and all the participants to today's program and wish this session a great success. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Moving forward in our program, it's my absolute pleasure to formally introduce our illustrious guest speaker to the audience. Dr. Rajiv Nigam is an eminent expert in the field of marine geology and micropaleontology. He holds an MSc from Lucknow University alongside MPhil, PhD, and DSc degrees in geology from Aligarh Muslim University, as well as a diploma in marine micropaleontology from Oslo University, Norway. Dr. Nigam has made monumental contributions to understanding past monsoon, sea level fluctuations, and tsunamis by studying the microfossils. His groundbreaking work uniquely bridges geology and archaeology, exploring submerged historical sites like Dwaraka, Lothal, Ram Setu, and discovering the oldest record of tsunami protection measures in India at Bolamira. His brilliant career at the National Institute of Oceanography, Goa, saw him serve as the head of Geology Division and Marine Archaeology Unit, later continuing his work as an emeritus scientist. He currently serves as the president of Paleontological Society of India. He is the recipient of numerous prestigious national and international accolades, including the CSIR Young Scientist Award and the National Mineral Award, among several other distinguished medals and named lecture awards. Most notably, Dr. Nigam stands as the first Indian to receive the prestigious 50th J.A. Cushman Award for Excellence in Foramiferal Research, presented by the Geological Society of America. Today, Dr. Nigam will be enlightening us on the topic, as Director Sir has already explained. And before I hand over the virtual platform to our speaker, a brief logistical note for all our participants and regional directors. To ensure smooth coordination in this hybrid session today, all queries for the question and answer session may please be routed to your respective regional directors. We kindly request our participants to coordinate your questions with your respective regions during the course of lecture so that they may be presented seamlessly at the end. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our distinguished speaker with a warm round of applause. Dr. Nigam, sir, the virtual platform is all yours. We look forward to your address.
Thank you, and thank you, Dr. Dheeraj Pandey, for such an elaborate introduction. I will straightforward come to sharing my presentation. Because you all can see my slide. Look, can anyone respond? Hello? Can
Sir,
you see
yes,
the
your
slide?
slides are visible to us. Yes, sir, it is
Okay.
visible.
Thank you very much. Friends, first of all, I'm thankful to the officers from the AMD for giving me an opportunity to talk on something which is away from your area of specialization of atomic minerals. I'm going to talk about the marine sediment, the past climate, the implications in paleoclimatology, as well as the pollution monitoring. Friends, today is a very important day. It's the World Environmental Day. First time it was celebrated in 1973, and it has been a platform for raising the awareness on environmental issues such as the marine pollution, overpopulation, global warming, sustainable development, and wildlife plan. Normally, which I witness on this World Environmental Day, mostly we talk about plastic pollutions, fossil fuel burnings, deforestation, and need for plantation. So most of the things are concentrated on the continent, whereas the Earth is composed of two-thirds because of water, which is a marine water. And one of the issues which is considered to be environment is the marine environment or the marine pollution studies. Friends, I would like to share some of my experience and my studentship in the field of marine environmental issues. See, the issues related to the past environmental changes, it is clubbed under the heading paleoclimate. And we discussed three things: why to study paleoclimate, how to study, and whether it's possible to predict based on the paleoclimate. And issues related to the modern environment comes under the pollution. And again, the three: why to monitor pollution, how to monitor, and whether it is possible to prevent the pollution. So let us see how we can do it. Friends, the world is now much concerned about the environment and climate change. This is happening because of the lot of changes came in the environment after the last industrial revolution. A lot of greenhouse gases has been pumped into the atmosphere, and it is now widely accepted that world warm up to climate change. There are various estimates are given, various consequences are there. One of the very alarming is the city sea level rising 1.2 millimeter yearly. Part of the study made by Dr. Unnikrishnan from NIO, who was a part of the team who bagged the Nobel Prize for the climate change, the team. Being an oceanographic uh, worker, let us consider what are the consequences of global warming we can face. Of course, no work of life will remain unaffected because of the global warming. But as far as the marine science is concerned, you can see here, this is the Earth, and Earth is weeping because its protective umbrella has been punctured by its own man, the own sun, the man, and therefore climate is changing. The consequences are accelerated rise in sea level, changes in monsoon pattern, increase in the intensity and frequency of storms and the fishing. One more question comes when we talk about global warming or anthropogenic changes. If man is only responsible for the climate change, our own doing, then climate should not have changed when man was not so active or man was not on this planet. Most of you are the geology people and know that the climate or the environment keep changing when man was also not there. So then what was the, it means there is a natural climatic variable over and over which the man effects can be evaluated if we know the natural climatic variable. For example, the sea level rise. If because of natural climatic variability, sea level is going to be up, and because of anthropogenic activity, this problem will be compounded. And if naturally sea level is going down, and because of anthropogenic changes, sea level is up, they may nullify. So it is at most required to see how fast climatic changes are there as a natural climatic variable. How to decipher natural climatic variability? Where are the archives of it? To enhance the understanding of past climatic changes through the study of microfossils, especially the foraminifera in marine environments in the Indian Ocean and adjoining. This is our quest. How we can do the past climate. The basic things I would like to bring to your kind notice. See, for example, this is the land and this is the sea. The sediment comes into the sea by two sources, either by river or by wind. So along with these sediments, there are also the number of fossil microorganisms which are also living, and after their death, once they live in this environment, they live into the equilibrium with the environment. They incorporate the signature or the prevailing environment in form of their hard part, the test. And after their death, the sediment and the hard part also get deposited layer by layer, year by year at the bottom of the sea. So if you want to know how climate has changed in the last 2,000 years to few million years, what you can do, you can take your ship and you can do the coding. Now, if you know you can infer the climate based on the fossil content, and you can put a radiocarbon date, so you know what type of changes happened and when. So how to read this layer that can be studied through the variety of microfossils. Each and every microfossil is useful in some way or the other. In view of the limited time available, I will change take up only how we can use the foraminifera, which is the very abundant microfossils in the marine environment, and which is exclusively the marine organisms. In addition to that, I will tell you something about waterless fish, about the fish remains. So let us see. First, know what is the foraminifera. These are the microfossils. They live in the water column as well as the bottom of the sea. These are the planktonic. These are the benthic. They are almost less than a millimeter in size, available almost everywhere in the sea. They're extremely sensitive to the climate change. Slight change in any of the parameter in environment, there is a lot of change in the population. There are about 40,000 species are there in environment. You can see that the type of how they look like. These are the benthic and these are the planktonic. They're beautifully ornamented. And because of this ornament, this has been used in a commercial application as well. In China, based on this ornamentation and species, they have been given to the granite block. And they developed a fossil park, Foraminifera Fossil Park, which was inaugurated by the president of China and become a very famous international attraction. They have been used in designing the lab, something like a lab, something like a jewelry. Even the children, it became popular because of the lollipop. But besides this commercial application, they are also useful a variety of applications in paleoclimate, sediment transport. This is an engineering application. It's an age-old application in discovery of the oil. You can use them for knowing how monsoon changes in past and how it may vary in the future. How fisheries also has changed with time. Commercial application already I told. They are useful in paleotsunami, sea level changes, marine archaeology, and pollution monitoring. I will take some of them. Uh, since I want to show a lot of application in a least possible time, if anywhere I am not very clear to you or you have a doubt, please ask the question and I will definitely would love to explain any of the application. Let us start with the phenomena called monsoon, which is very important to our country because still despite improved irrigation system, lot of our agriculture depend on the monsoon. Therefore, planning, the economic planning of the country depends upon the monsoon rainfall, and it's question repeatedly asked by the planner of the country whether monsoon can be predicted up to certain extent. How to get an idea about past? The last 100-year data is available, which is used by the meteorologists and by the modelers to know about the future planning. But 100-year rainfall record is not that much issue, and we have to increase the length of record to the properties. And foraminifera or other microfossils can be used as a proxy. See the conceptual framework. If more rainfall is there, more fresh water discharge through rivers, it goes into the marine environment quite far, and it's brackish environment. So sediment which is getting deposited will have a fossil which is showing the low salinity organisms. When rainfall is less water is discharged, normal marine water take over, and second layer which is getting deposited will show the normal high salinity environment. So if you take a core, you can say less environment salinity, high salinity, thus low rainfall or high rain. So you can identify the species which indicate we have made such efforts. In last 5,000 years, this is the record. You can see the rain when it is decreasing, it is a high rain. So around 3,500 years back, you can say it was a very high rain. Then it will start to reducing, and around about 2,000 years back, rainfall was very dry. Many of you might have studied the book by Wadia or Krishnan for stratigraphy. In the first chapter, they have written, prior to the beginning of Christian era, probably Thar was a well cultivated land. It means prior to the beginning of freshen air, before 2000, rainfall must have been very high, and then you can see, yes, it was high. Around 2000 years back, it became very, very low. How it affects? See, the 2000 year, roughly 2000 years back, the Kalanai Dam is an ancient dam built by the Karaikala of Chola dynasty. And this is the world's oldest dam. How they decided to build the dam at that time? Because when rainfall started reducing, they thought that whatever little water is coming, better to store it. So this type of work is very useful if you know that you are going to have a high rainfall in coming decades. You have to go for a flood management. But if you know that you are going to have a less rainfall, you have to go for a drought management. You have to ensure that all your dams are in place and filled with the water so that it can be used for the future. Here in this case, resolution was about 100 years. So we cannot predict on the decadal basis. So we had another poll, and you can see here the dry, inferred dry climate at a regular interval was occurring. This is about 77 years, 80 plus minus 10 years cycle, which is called the Glasberg solar cycle, which we infer. Meteorologists could not infer this cycle because their data itself was 100 years. An old oceanographer which was working in deep sea, the resolution was poor, they could not do it. So we could get this work. And after knowing that, you can see the rainfall record. This is a very famous meteorological figure. The very frequent droughts, and distance between these two is about 75 years, 78 years. And if you extrapolate the curve, you can say you are heading for a good month. And the last 2-3 decades have proved that the study was correct. This was the work from Dr. Nila Khare's thesis, for which he got a Young Scientist Award. He was my very old student. So, based on the fossils, you can actually predict what type of environment we are going to have in the future. So if we are going to have a good rainfall, it means you have to go for a mostly flood management. You can have a lot of money, which can be used for the development. And when the reverse trend will start, you have to put that money for importing the food grains and management the drought. So this is very brief about how microfossil can be used for predicting or developing the monsoon record. I must admit here, this study was a pilot study done at the Karwa region. This needs to be repeated all along the coast so that we can give a very comprehensive picture about entire Indian region. And this rainfall is such, it's not only concerned with the marine, entire Indian, our full country is going to be affected by this. The tsunami is also a phenomenon you can see in 2005 when the last tsunami has hit, which has killed over a lot of people in Indonesia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, and other countries. Normally, tsunami has been considered to be associated with the earthquake, and since earthquake cannot be predicted, tsunami cannot be predicted. That was the assumption. When last tsunami came, Indian National Science Academy invited a very famous expert, Todd Murthy, and he gave a statement. The second tsunami could hit India in November. He's talking in 2005. This year, but this time the killer wave could strike the Mumbai and Gujarat coastline. This never happened. Why? Because he was trying to predict based on the 100-year data, historical data, which is not sufficient. So we need to generate the data of past tsunami. Then only our ability to predict about tsunami will enhance. How to do that? In fact, we are doing a survey for the Sanji cement in Gujarat region in the Kori Creek area. What we were doing, that was a different thing, but we made use of that project to collect some more samples for PhD of Prabodh Chaturvedi. The 3 core results actually gave an idea about tsunami in this region about 8,000 years back. Normally, paleoclimate means sediment deposited at the bottom is old, and when you come up in the core, it is a younger sediment. Now here see around 8,000 year and 7,000 year in between this green belt. At the bottom is 10,700 and at the top is 11,500 and 12,000. Means the inverted sequence. This is something very unusual we notice. How inverted sequence is possible? And this is the marine sediment because it contains foraminifera. It is possible to erode from the land, and the younger sediment will be eroded and deposited at the bottom, older at the bottom, and it will come younger. But this is not possible because 10,000, 11,000 year old sea level was not higher than today. So it is not possible. It is also possible if the folding is there, but the 30 centimeter sediment, loose sediment cannot be folded. Then what is there? Probably the sediment when sea level was lower about 100 meters. The sediment were deposited at much lower region, and from lower region they have been eroded and deposited. It means what we are doing, we are trying to show a movement against the gravity, which is required under the required tremendous energy, and that is possible under the tsunami condition. Now, if you want to generate the record for tsunami, we have proposed a model. The coastal lake or the best portion. See, here a lake and here is a sea. In this lake, the sediments are depositing. This lake do not contain foraminifera, gas forms are marine sediment. The layer which is depositing will not have foraminifera. The tsunami comes. The tsunami comes to bring the marine sediment and deposit the marine layer. After some time, again the normal lake sediments are deposited. A second tsunami comes and again deposited. It means here we'll have a layering. Foraminifera, no foraminifera. Marine layer, freshwater layer. Marine layer, freshwater layer. If you can take your boat, do a sampling, get this type of sequence, the dating, you can generate a record of past tsunamis. And if we are able to do it, who knows, we may enhance our understanding of predictive model about the tsunamis. And the tsunamis are very, very dangerous for the coastal region, and they create a lot of trouble to the people as well as the industries in the coastal areas. And in India, there are two such good areas, the Chilka Lake and Pulicat Lake, where the future work will enhance our understanding of past tsunamis. This is something which is very important and one of the very major factor which is going to be affected due to the global climate change. If you see the Holocene period, which is the most important period and which is concerned with the human race, during the last the Holocene period, about 12 to 15,000 years back, sometimes sea level was lower than today, and sometimes you can see sea level was higher than today. Today, this is the present sea level. Now, if we know this, how sea level has fluctuated, we can get an idea about the future, what it has done in the past and what it will do in the future. But you see, most of these workers are from foreign workers because this is a relative sea level change. So what has been done in Pacific and Atlantic and other countries, we cannot apply at such in Indian region. So we have to generate our own record for our own seas. That's what we have done. How to do it? This is the very simplest model I am telling you. Think that if sea level is here and the indicator species are here, the shallow water indicator. If sea level, you know the depth. If sea level started going up, this if we try to migrate and the time comes when they cannot move on. So if this is a carbonate, you can do a C14 dating. So date versus depth. If you plot, you will get an idea about how sea level has fluctuated in the past. And when sea level was higher, such deposits are available in the many coastal areas, including Goa and entire Konkan coast, some places at East Coast as well. What we have done, whatever was published, we have summarized entire data. There is a model also which you can generate in core about the paleo depth model. It is published in the Paleohistory journal. Now, here is a summary diagram. Around 15,000 years back, sea level was about 100 meters lower than present. It started going up around 9.5 thousand years, between 30 to 40 meter water depth. Around 7,000 years, it has crossed the present sea level and even higher than today. Around 3,500 years back, it was lower than today. Again, around 2,200 years, it was higher than today. And we do not have a very good resolution for last 1,000. Now, this sea level, we are trying to project, and we all agreed now the sea level is increasing because of the anthropogenic changes. Now, this sea level understanding, which was actually done, this work was done in connection with the global climate change program. But it has produced wonderful results to interpret the marine, many of the coastal, fate of the coastal system. So last time when I came to AMD Hyderabad, I gave a lecture, a full hour lecture on this topic only. Role of sea level fluctuation in shaping the destiny of ancient Indian coastal cities. Here I will tell you in the brief. The oldest, the marine archaeology studies in India started from the Lothal. This is the Harappan site. The first site in 1954, which was excavated by S.R. Rao. Along with many other things, he found out a very tank-like body. And in tank-like body, he got few stones like that with these holes. And based on the stones, the two schools developed. First school says these stones were used as an anchor stone. So it was a dockyard. It's a picture view given by S.R. Rao. This is a dockyard. And this is a local town. The other school used the same stone, says it is a counterweight to lift the water for irrigation. And friends, will you believe that this controversy, dockyard versus irrigation tank, continued for about more than 40 years? Because archaeologists were arguing with the archaeologists without the help from a geology or geophysics people. What we did, we collected the samples from here. We analyzed in the lab and we found the foraminifera, which is the exclusively marine organism. So since we got foraminifera, cannot be filled with the marine water, it cannot be filled with the fresh water. So it tilted the argument in favor of the dockyard, the world's oldest dockyard in India. That is the Lothal, around 4,500 years old. But presently, this is kilometers away from the sea and a couple of meters above the present sea level. Have you seen any such dockyard? No. So how it was possible only if sea level was higher than today. And then you see the record, which just now I showed you. Around 4,500 years back, sea level was higher than today. When this was connected to the sea as the world's oldest dockyard, and when sea level has gone down, it became out of use and it became an abundance. This is another very important and the Dwarka excavation about the submerged Dwarka. This is the Dwarkadish temple, present temple. This is near to the present temple, ancient temple, which was buried into the sand and which was excavated. This gave an idea that who knows that mention in Mahabharata and Gita that Krishna built a city of Dwarka on reclaimed land, which later engulfed by the sea. Is there any evidence of this ancient city? That's what was thought, and the National Institute of Oceanography did many decades survey, and we found the remnant of an ancient city, is the city of Dwarka. With the age found out by about 3,500 years back. Since nobody made a city into the sea, city must have been made when it was when the sea and the land was joining. Okay? So whether sea level was lower at 3,500 years back? Yes, you can see here. 3,500 years back, sea level was lower than today. And sea level was going down, so a lot of marshy land was available, which was reclaimed by Lord Krishna, built the city. And when again sea level has gone up, it became a submerged. Here lies a lesson for all of us. The CRZ rules means up to 500 meters from the high tide line. In many areas developed by Government of India, there is no construction zone. And government advised that not to have a very heavy private or public investment in low-lying coastal areas because they may go into the sea in the future. People think it is against their interest. No. In past, sea has not pardoned even the God. If you go too close to the sea, and make a heavy investment, your investment may go into the sea. The sea level is going to rise, which is very much likely. We have presented this work into a BBC documentary along with many publications, which have about more than 3 million views, where we have explained in detail. You can go into the BBC and give a keyword, Samar Dwarka, and you will get. We have explained in many TV programs about the ancient Samar Dwarka. Recently, Dholavira is another prominent city in Gujarat, in Kutch area, Adarbat area. It is developed as the world's cultural heritage site. What you have said. This site was so far known for excellent water conservation system. This is the land of this area. It is between the two minor rivers, seasonal nalas, you can say. This is all water reservoirs. The important thing is, which was never discovered so far. See, the citadel area, this wall around the citadel area is 18 meters. This is 18-meter thick wall. And the outer wall, this is the middle town, this is the lower town. This wall was about 5 to 6 meters. The purpose, we asked Dr. Bish, who discovered, excavated it, and got a Padma Shri for that. Sir, why someone to have to make a 18-meter thick wall? This is protection. Then I asked, protection against whom? Animal? For that bamboo fencing is enough. Like protection against animal, against the enemy. 6,000 years back, what was the ammunition of your enemies? Bows and arrows. Why? Even the China wall is not that much thick. So then we came into the picture as a geologist. We all knew there is a Makran coast, and Makran coast is a earthquake-prone area. And in the same, I already told you about paleo tsunami. 8,000 years back, we have already reported tsunami in this area. It means Dholavirian living in this area knew that this area is a tsunami-prone area. And as a protection from the tsunami, they made 18-meter thick wall. Recently, Japan has made 11-meter thick. It means the world's oldest evidence for tsunami protection was implemented by ancient Indians at Dholavira. We must be very proud how wise were our ancestors. This is also very detailed lecture. Sometime or other time I will tell you again. Last time I explained it. This is another very important discovery, which has not got its due so far. In about, I think, 2000, National Institute of Ocean Technology was doing a survey for Kalsar project near Surat. And as an accidental discovery, they noticed the remnant of an ancient city. Then Secretary to Ministry of Earth Sciences and the Minister for Science and Technology, Dr. Murli Manohar Joshi, they had a press conference and told that they discovered the remnant of an ancient town, which is 9.5 thousand years and about 30 to 40 meter water depth. India today brought out a special issue, and they say this is world's oldest city. But later it was criticized, and Outlook brought out this it is all hoax. Probably they were those who reported it, they have not explained in detail how it is possible to have a city at 30 to 40 meter water. Now we came into the picture. This study came into the 2000. And first time we published this curve in 1995. So curve is predated in this discovery. And see here, 9.5 thousand year back, sea level was between 30 to 40 meters lower than today. It was river which is joining the land, the sea here. They were joining the sea here. The sea level was rising very slowly. So no one should get surprised to have a city here. But since no literature available for such a older time, so we don't know who has founded the city. But yes, it is pure that we have the evidence of the ancient city at this time. This is another controversy about Ram Setu. You might have heard very much. And as a geologist, we were reluctant to give any statement on that till a group of scientists, Sarosh Bala and Kuldeep Bhushan, based on the star positions at the time of Rama's birth, gave a time of Rama. That is about 5,100 years BC. This roughly 7,000 years before present. Now see here, 7,000 years before present, sea level was about 2 to 3 meters lower than present. And presently the water depth here is about 10 feet, about 3 meters. If you lower the sea level with India and Sri Lanka, almost get connected except few shallow patches here and there, which can be filled together. And it is possible for anyone with little effort using the stones, trees, and whatnot, create a bund, not a overbridge. It is a bund, Setu Band Rameshwar. It is possible to have a bund. So the story of Setu Band is not an imagination, but it is a reality, and it was possible to connect India and Sri Lanka at 7,000 years back. So you can see here, Krishna's Dwarka and Rama's Ram Setu now have a scientific evidence to support. So it's not only mythology, probably it is a history. Now, so far I talked to you about the past environment. Let us talk about the modern environment. Coastal areas are very favorite area for the industrial development. And when industries come, they have to discharge their effluent. And the sea is a very easy place to discharge anything. It is started. But then it has its adverse effect as well. So the study of a protest against the effluent discharge into the sea was started right from the Goa. And you can say the Zuari agro industries was in the South Goa was established. And in 1974, Rampun Castle, or the traditional fishermen, they protested against this industry. They were telling that because of this industry's discharge, the fish in the coastal areas are dying and their livelihood is affected. Whereas factory was taking a stand, no, their effluent is not disturbing that area. This is the allegation on them. In this condition, National Institute of Oceanography was asked whether they can do anything. So our quest was there first to find out whether pollution is there, to detect the pollution, whether pollution is there or not there. That is our first job to decide. How to get the idea? Very simple. You can go to the effluent discharge sites, take the samples, say arsenic, go to your lab and check whether water is having a high arsenic or any such pollutant or not. Very easy method to say that factory is polluting or not. But friends, sometimes the scientists, unsuspecting scientists can be fooled. Why and how? If a factory owner is very clever, I'm just giving you conditions. If you have been given a project, 1 month they will not discharge into the sea, they are storing within their factory. So when you go and collect, by the time it is diluted, you will give a report that there is no pollution, which will be a wrong report. To overcome this problem, you can go for a weekly sample or 15-day sample for 6 months or 1 year. Then it will take too much time and your project became not viable financially. So you need a one-time sampling, which can give you an idea about whether factory is polluting or not polluting. That so that there is an additional tool we develop for a Minifra because they have their test, the shell. which is a hard test, and it incorporates the signature of the chemical composition of the coastal environment. So even if factory is closed, they were discharging, they close it for some time. You take the sample, the short core, and you can say factory was polluting or not polluting. So what happened? What type of samples required? Surface sediment sample with the time gap. The same area pre-sample and post-factory sample you can compare. A short core you can say how much sediment deposited pre-establishment of factory and post-factory. So we have done it. You can say that paralysis type of effect you can see in the fauna. So deformed tests you get reduced the size as per normal. Some species are opportunistic species. They become more near the affluent side. Some became decreased. So you can see these are the specimens, how abnormal, tilted, tooth mouth, that type of small eroded type of sediments. So we published and we developed the model, but we were criticized because we have gone and collected samples from known polluted sites. And from there, we've seen what type of fauna is there, and we attributed it to the pollution. There was who knows, there may be other factors, not the pollution. You may be biased. What we did, we developed a culture lab at NIO. Very few labs in the world culturing foraminifera, and NIO is the only lab which is culturing foraminifera in entire Southeast Asia. Now you can see this is a foraminifera test, this one. And you can see the small baby in its womb. Now this foraminifera is reproducing. You can see the small babies, they're coming out of the womb. What we have done, when you are doing culture studies, you have to take the same specimen. So we have taken from the same parent, this is small babies, and put you into a different concentration of the pollutants. And one standard set where no pollutant was added. So this culture study actually confirmed what we found from the field studies. So here what happened, we have put this, this is a specimen in the media when there is no mercury was added. And here the different concentration of media, you can see the abnormality in the test, what we have seen earlier. And there is a growth also reducing when we increase the mercury concentration into the media. This is an experimental paleontology proof that yes, the pollution affects the hard part of the test. This hard part gets preserved into the sediment, and no factory owner, how much wise they are, how much clever they are, they can fool the scientists. So the pollution can be detected whether factory is polluting or not polluting very well if we use this new method for the pollution detection. Once the pollution is detected, what next? Can we close the factory? No, because factory are the one which is needed for the job as well as the culture, this economic development of the country. Then what we should do? So what we have done, the factory is there based on the physical oceanography parameters. We say that take the effluent to a site where currents and take it to the deep sea where it gets diluted and its effect is almost negligible. How to take effluent from here to this site? There is a pipeline. Now this pipeline you cannot just put on the floor of the sea. It will get damaged. It should be buried into the sediment. So we, with the help of geology, seismic profiling, we look for the soft sediment where this pipeline should go and bury by its own weight into the sediment. Otherwise, you have to do trenching and bury your pipeline, which is very expensive. So we have given an initially report, and couple of factories have laid the pipeline. We did the post-pipeline survey, and to our utter surprise, see, this was the survey immediately after laying up. This is seabed, and these are the two pipelines. They are buried. After some time, we have gone and we found that these pipelines are exposed. It means that sediment transport history in any area is also very important. Because today you laid the pipeline, you thought it is buried, tomorrow it will. So we should select the area where the least sediment transport is there. How to get a sediment transport? We use sediment tracer, we use mineral tracer. But it takes a lot of time and a lot of efforts. We can supplement this method by the microfossils as well. Because if you need a long-term net sediment transport, you have to depend on the microfossils. Now, with microfossils, when they are alive, they have a pseudopodia, the soft part. It's 10 times of the size of the animal itself. This is 1 millimeter and it goes above 1 centimeter. Now, with the help of this pseudopodia, the soft part, it collects the food as well as it anchors themselves to the sediment. Thus, they resist any transport under the effect of any type of current. But once the animal dies, the soft part get decomposed and this hard part behave like a sediment and subjected to the sediment transport. So this concept we have tested here. This is a model area and this is a concept. You collect a grid pattern samples, see the distribution of different species among the live foraminifera, which were living at the time of collection. We use the rose Bengal for that. And those who are dead, they remain white. So if there is no sediment transport, this distribution pattern should be same. But if it's different, it means sediment is moving either this direction or this direction. This concept you can see here. The 10% contour in the living was taking this much area, but in the dead it is 10% here. It means sediment is moving in this direction. And this we found in the same area. The Sutherland channel sediment pushing the sediment this direction, tidal wave pushing the sediment this direction, so net sediment transport direction. It means net sediment, so we can detect whether pollution is there or not. First, if pollution is there, suggest them where they should discharge so that it should not affect the fisheries much. So how to lay pipeline. Then after laying the pipeline, your pipeline should not get be exposed. All these things you can do if you have an understanding about the microfossils. We can see that foraminifera are useful in detecting marine pollution and designing preventive measures. We can prevent foraminifera from incorporating evidence of pollution by stopping the pollutants. Let's strive to make our sea pollution. This is the last topic which I would like to discuss. Whenever you talk about sea, the first thing comes to a common man, its mind is the food from the sea, which is mostly the fish. India have about 17,000 fishing villages all along the coast. And this is a very famous Cochin, the fishing net. Now, each area have a specific type of fish, depending upon the local environment. Whatever you are getting, for example, Kerala, you will be different from Karnataka. What you get from Kerala, you will get a Goa. Like Goa, for example, mackerel is one of the very common species. An entire fishing processing industry here is mackerel-based industry. Now think about global warming. If global warming is happening and it is a reality, what will happen? Temperature will have a latitudinal change and fish will start moving from one direction to the other. If mackerel move out of Goa and goes towards Maharashtra or Karnataka, this fishing industry will go out of business. But if it can be showed well in advance, the industry can plan to move along with the movement of the fishes. How to get an idea whether fish will move or not? It is possible. If fish has migrated or extinct in the past, it will happen in the future if temperature variation is there. How to know whether it happened in the past? We can do it with the help of autolysis. Okay, and based on this autolysis, it is possible to predict the future migration. What is autolysis? Those who eat fish, they may know. There is the ear bones, and ear bones you have this stone which is having a concentric rings. The biologists know it very well. Now, this is mostly made up of calcium carbonate. Biologists use it for counting the rings, for calculating the age of the fish. We are going to propose that with the help of this otoliths, we can get an idea about the past fisheries and the future fisheries. How it is possible? Let us see the conceptual framework first. If one type of fish is living here and another type of fish is living here. Now, after their death, this otoliths, the soft part will get decomposed, hard part will get preserved here. And this fish will preserve here. And in this area, if you take a core sample, you will not have either this fish or this fish. See, if temperature is changing, what happens? This fish will start moving. Okay, now they have come here. Now the next sediment which is getting deposited with have. Now, if you have these three core, you can say this fish used to live in this area, but do not live anymore. Then which side it has gone? If you steam the area and you find at the top, it means this fish moved from this direction. Now, this fish used to live in this area, not living anymore, but it is living in this area. So, which direction ship is moved? Plus, at the same time, you can see that old ring in the otolith. If old fish, sometimes fish survive in that same area, but their size we have seen in fossil otolith. Initially, we found that there was some 10 to 12, it's about they used to live over 10 years. Size was say 10 centimeter. Now you get it into 2 centimeter because otolith size became half a centimeter. So the size and type. And this otoliths are the fish specific. See, this is a fish. We have done a dissection in our lab. These are otoliths we have taken out. You can see different type of fish have a different otoliths. So if you see the otolith, you can say which fish has moved in which direction. For that, you should have a catalog. Since there was no catalog available, what we did, we have for Goa region, we have done. We have taken the all common fishes in this area, did the dissection, taken out the otoliths, and we have cataloged them. And now we know the name of the fish. Now in the fossil, we'll get this otoliths. So when we'll do the coring, we'll take out this otolith, we will be able to tell that which fish is moving in this direction, and accordingly, a fishing industry can be advised depending upon the change in the environment. They can also plan well in advance, well in decades, that what they are going to do with their fishing industry. This is the way, if we know the understanding of the microfossils, we can get an idea about the past environment. We can do the planning, how type of monsoon will change, how our agriculture will be affected with reference to the future environmental changes, how sea level has fluctuated in the past and submerged or emerged many of the coastal cities. Let us see that there should not be a much greenhouse gases immersion. Otherwise, sea level will go up, and many of the new present coastal cities will become an exclusive property of the future marine archaeologists. So let us take an oath not to pollute the environment too much. As far as the modern environment and pollution is there, now we have better methods where we can, with a lot of confidence, we can suggest that how to safeguard, how to see that factory also survive into the areas, but at the same time, the coastal region population livelihood of those fishes is not affected. Friends, this is in brief I would like to say, and I can say this is a small step to unravel the past in order to illuminate the future. Thank you very much, and I think I am within time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nigam, for that absolutely enriching and enlightening lecture. You have explained that in a very lucid manner, how to use foraminiferous sport not only in understanding the ancient sea level fluctuations or climatic conditions, but also in modern tools like predicting for the fisheries as well as pollution, um, monitoring, etc. So, as announced earlier, now it's a question and answer session. So, I request our esteemed regional directors to present the compiled queries on behalf of their respective regions. To respect our strict time schedules, I ensure and for a well balanced participation, we kindly request each region to limit themselves on to the max 1 or 2 questions. And now the floor is open. I request regional directors to kindly unmute and indicate if there are any questions from their respective regions.
Before the question answer session starts, I can ensure the audience one thing. No question is a bad question ever. If only the answer from my side can be good or bad. So please don't hesitate to ask me elaborate anywhere out of all this application, any application, or the new queries or any suggestion also you have in any of these branch, you are most welcome.
Good afternoon, sir. This is from region. Thank you, sir, for such an informative lecture. We have a question that India Peninsula is surrounded by Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean, and Bay of Bengal. So, is there any kind of changes in fish migrations amongst these three water bodies?
Yes, the Arabian Sea is little bit more saline as compared to the Bay of Bengal. And salinity is a very controlling factor. See, the hillside which you get it in Calcutta, do you get it on West Coast? No. And the type of pomfret, what we get it in the Gujarat area, whether you get it in uh, Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, no. The fish are, some fishes are, you can say ubiquitous. They are everywhere, depending upon their size and their shape. But some are very specific fishes. And not only India, even Americans were worried. In one of the conferences, we discussed this. Lot of good fishes along the American coast, they're likely to lose to Canada. And they were thinking what to do. They wanted to make some culture so that even if under the influence of global warming and temperature changes, they're moving out of that area, some quantity should be available uh, in their country. Instead of doing that, ours is a very large coastline. So if something moves, say from Goa, where it will go? Either it will go towards Bombay or it will go towards Kochi. Still fish will be available. But problem comes about the fishing processing industry, which is one of the very big industry in India. Because if mackerel-based industry remain in Goa and mackerel move towards Cochin or Bombay, then first you have to catch off Bombay and then bring it to Goa for processing. It will be financially not viable. So as a scientist, we should tell them in advance, look, we have a signature. This particular type of fishes moving either north or towards south. So accordingly, you can see that what will be the fate of your industry. You will remain here and will flourish after some time, or the type of fishes which you are processing, you have to develop it for the new type of fishes which are going to immigrate into this area. Or you move the industry along with the type of fish so that mackerel is moving to north, you move your industry also towards south. But this, they can do it only if we are able to tell them which fish is moving in which direction. So scientists have a big role in this environmental analysis, and this is having a financial. Each of the environmental changes going to cost us financially, whether it is change in monsoon, sea level, fishing, tsunami, whatnot. Environment is directly proportional to the economic growth. So we all, as a scientists, have a big role in the economic development of the country.
Thank you, sir.
If any more question, or if you want, you can ask supplementary question also, no problem. You have seen this otoliths in the fish. Are you a fish eater? Because
Hello.
this is very interesting. Those who eat fish, next time they should check their ear bowls. They are the tools which will tell you about industrial development in future.
Hello, may I, sir?
So,
Sir, foraminifera are being considered as the indicators of pollution.
yes.
In such case, what is the time duration we can understand behavioral change? Because you said that there will be behavioral change, their morphology will be changed. So what is the time required for change of such type of behavior in
Yeah,
morphology?
this is good, very good question, sir. See, if some animal lives for years together, it is of no use for environmental studies. Okay, that's why we are saying megafossils. We are not giving importance to the megafossils. They live for decades. Foraminifera live in the order of months. Okay, so if that's what we are doing it in our lab, and we already published the paper of the lifespan of different species. So it is the order of few months. Moment your factory start polluting it, within a month or two, you will start seeing its effect. So that is the beauty, and that is why it is applicable and having an edge over the chemical tool. They do not live for too long a time. So it's okay. Or if you want more question, anyone can ask new question, or if you are not satisfied with the answer, you can ask supplementary question.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
A very good
Good
evening,
evening,
sir.
sir.
Yogesh Adhikari from AMD headquarters. First of all, thank you for your very elaborative and informative lecture, sir. I have one question. You showed a graph in which you have shown that there has been a increase in the sea level as well as in decrease. But as we know, like there has been events in Holocene regarding the marine transgression, and you said that you are using these forums in the benthic sediments to predict whether they are from tsunami or not. So, like each and every spike in that graph, what is shown there, like it is attributed to tsunami or like it is just normal marine transgression?
See, normal marine transgression will inundate it for long, long time. So, for example, if sea level has gone up, the coastal lake will become a part of the sea. If you take a core at the bottom, you may get only no foraminifera. But bottom continuously, you will get foraminifera. Whereas tsunami is not a permanent phenomenon. It inundates the land for a short while. Then water go back to its original position. So tsunami came, brought the marine fossils, dump it into the lake, gone back, again the normal freshwater deposit will start. So this is the way you can differentiate whether it is brought out by the tsunami or it is the transgression or regression of the sea, a remnant of that. And marine transgression and regression, as a geology student, we all know it's throughout the geological history.
Thank you, sir. So one more very short question.
Sure.
Sir, you talked about like around 4,000 years ago, talking about Dwarka. Like when we were studying those sediments, like
Yeah.
did the like when you are pinpointing the exact location of Dwarka, were the sediment transport was also studied? Like
See, this area, particularly of Gujarat area, if the rate of sedimentation is very slow. Okay. Otherwise, also in shallow water, that much deposit is not there. And still, it's not that. One thing I will tell you, these days, lot of fake videos of Samar Dwarka is in circulation. Please, please don't believe them. You don't get any temples there. You don't get any palace in the water. You don't get Krishna's bedroom there. No, nothing like that. Even on land, I think all of you might have seen the photograph of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. Most of the archaeological site, what you get is only the foundations. Exactly in the Dwarka also, you get only the foundations. The stones put in such a way that it is giving an impression it was a wall, some structure was there which has collapsed. So, Dwarka, we have done quite a big area survey where first the geophysical survey was done, like for the depth, and then seismic surveys and side scan sonar, sparkers, boomers. And then we started narrowing down wherever we get anything in side scan sonars. Then we have gone for a airlifting some of the type of sediment. Then we sent the divers, we sent our photographers, narrowed down, and then we got whatever dating material Dr. S.R. Rao, who actually was credited for this, it has been dated. Now, more important question about this is about this Commerce City. Number of explanations are given. I remember in one of my video I have explained that 3 reasons have been given about submerged city. First thing, something it is because of erosion. See, erosion means that those who are from geology background here means your building is there, a foundation of building if you erode, what will happen? Building will collapse, but it will not submerge. Okay. Some people say it is tsunami which has engulfed Dwarka. Good. But you know, tsunami is not inundating permanently any area. Tsunami may destroy, but not submerge. Okay, it will destroy, but again after some time it will go back to the original. It will also not submerge. Submergence is possible only under the relative sea level changes. I use the word relative sea level changes because some amount of neotectonics cannot be ruled out. So if land is going down or up, or sea level is going up and down, so both play an important role. That's why under the International Geological Correlation Program, emphasis was there. Each area should study separately their sea level changes because the land also play important role. So whatever has been done in other area cannot be applied in our area. So in case of Dwarka, it is only the sea level fluctuation which has played a very important role.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I think if we don't have further questions, we can wind up. with the
One question. Hello.
Yes, we have one more question.
Sure, most welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for your illuminating talk. Actually, there are actually 2 questions. One is you in your one slide you are showing time and depth curve related to that relative sea level change. Now, time we can understand that you are getting it from radiocarbon dating. And which factor are you utilizing to get very precise depth?
Foraminifera itself are very good for dating purpose.
Dating you are using for radiocarbon depth.
For radiocarbon dating. Radiocarbon dating you can use. You can use the lead Putin dating also sometime. We have worked into the North Sea. And very interesting problem was there. A species immigrated in that area. About timing they wanted to know. They have a 3 datings. Radiocarbon dating, which was showing about 3,000 years. Okay. Magnetic dating was showing about 1,000 years. And then they have done the lead Putin dating, because I work in that area. And that was showing about 200 years. So then I thought that probably date will be only one. It means there is each dating method have its limitation. So what we have done, lead Putin dating, we have corrected in terms of the compaction in view of the water content into the sediment. That gave 1000 years. Then we have seen the surface sediment, some old carbon was coming. So the surface sediment date we have detected from there. So like that, we applied the correction to each method. Finally, each method is giving 1000 year old. So when you are going for the dating, it is always good never to believe totally on one sample, never do anything on one sample, and not only one method. As much as sediments are possible, as many as sediments are possible, do it. And this is a very challenging task for two reasons. First thing, getting a right, selecting a right sediment for dating, that is very difficult. Second thing, that dating is very expensive. Now at least Inter-University Oscillation Center in Delhi, some samples to be dated. Otherwise, each radiocarbon dating through AMS dates, it was so expensive. Most of our results were based on hardly 5-6 samples. Now we are doing it 10, 20, 30 samples in each core. It is a resource problem.
So that depth, time axis, you are getting it from radiocarbon dating or late 10 dating.
See,
So that is okay.
the curve is, this curve is, I'll tell you, this curve is published in Geological Society of India both. One curve we have published in first time we published it in 1995, and second curve for Bay of Bengal we have published in 2019. But this curve is not based on any specific sample. Whatever dates were available from the Arabian Sea, we have analyzed each and every date and the type of material dated. We applied the corrective measures for each of the results. And this is a summary of about more than 100 days. Still, I will say that the number of samples or number of points for sea level curve are not sufficient. I myself told you, last 1000 years do not have very good dating control. That's why we are unable to tell what happened in last 1000 years.
Sir, actually, this question what Dr. Basu was asking, it is related to the depth curve, the time depth. Time you said the dating can be done by radiocarbon dating. How do you estimate the depth, particular depth at that point of time?
Okay. Foraminifera are excellent depth indicator. Okay. Now, the specimen which you are getting, say 0 to 10 meters, you will not get 10 to 20 meters. Like sediment, like otoliths, oolites, those who are work on sediment, you are all aware of oolites. Initially, the dates came on oolites only. And oolites were, that time people have a doubt, oolites are rounded grains which is formed in a very high energy shallow water environment. They were found along the Indian coast at 60-meter water depth. People in oceanography, they claim that it is an indicator of ancient sea level at 60-meter water depth. But others say, who knows? It is formed on the shallow water and they rolled at a deeper water. So we use the alveolina foraminifera on which the barnacle folding is there, which is a flat test. Now, flat test, like a 1 rupee coin, if you put a ball on a slope, it may roll. Okay, but if you put a 1 rupee coin, it will not roll. So this foraminifera, it's a larger foraminifera. It will not roll, and that lives within a 5-meter water depth. This barnacle folding is an intertidal region, 0 to 5-meter water depth. So we have dated such type of sediment which give a exact depth. Another paper, we have done it for Myanmar coast, where we have used foraminifera as a tectonics also. That is published in IGMS by Rajni Panchang. So we have done the dating, and we know that the material which is dated at what depth it lives. Today, if you get it, you are finding at 60-meter water depth, but we knew it was living only at 5 meters. When water was there at 5 meters, then it was living. And then it is left there, and you can date them when it used to live in this area. So that's why the depth and correlate.
But in that case also, sir, during regression, when the shallower sediments are reworked to deeper levels, then that again that confusion may.
Yes. Reworked and relict. There are two types of sediment. We have encountered both. Okay. For that, you have to have a little trained micropaleontologist who can differentiate with, uh, like even wind-blown sediment sometimes can create trouble. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
those who are reworked, like if you see the Narmada River mouth, the Miocene sediments have been eroded from the land and they have been brought into the marine environment. But they are, since they have been transported, they are filled with the sediment. Their corners are rounded up, so you can make out these forams do not live in this area. But it has been transported from southern area, and that will not be included in your data. So the relic and river and the wind-blown sediment should be excluded when you're going for dating or doing it or doing any interpretative part of it. This is
Okay,
actually
sir.
such a branch
Sir,
which requires a very good training in identification. The wrong identification. These days, everybody is using oxygen isotope, okay, as a tool to reconstruct the past climate. Now, there is a vital effect. Similar looking species have a different isotopic value from the same level.
yes.
So if at one level you take one specimen and by mistake another level, many of the labs I have seen, very world-class labs, they are hiring the high school boys to pick the foraminifera, which they use it for oxygen isotope. I always, whenever I go, I tell them, please give them a good training. They should not do a wrong identification, otherwise they will mess up the results. This
Actually,
is
sir,
not a
the
machine.
second.
This branch is not a
Yes, sir.
machine-based.
Sir, yes, yes, sir. So actually, the
Yeah,
second question was related to that when we are using oxygen isotope for getting
yeah.
that idea about that flooding or drought seasons. So when we are using the oxygen isotope, basically what you explained that when foraminifera is in living condition, then it is equilibrating with the ambient water. Now,
Yeah.
okay, that part is okay. Now, my question is when after death it is coming or settling to the bottom, then during early diagenesis, that low temperature equilibration, how does it affect that isotope curve?
So far, the results is once they're dead, no change is happening in the test. Okay. And I have a good that somebody is asking this question and on oxygen isotope. You have any idea what is the lifespan of planktonic foraminifera?
No, sir.
Okay, I will tell you. Till today, nobody in this world could culture full lifespan of planktonic foraminifera. Okay, what they have, some of the studies based on the field observations, plankton toe samples, Takanagi has given an age of the order of week and some culture. In culture, what happened, what has been done in Woodsole Oceanographic Institute, I was also trained there initially in America. They have they caught the young babies from the field, they brought into the lab, and when they caught it, say for example, it was having a 5-chamber. Now in the lab, it has developed another 5-chamber in say 5 days, and then it specimen reproduced and died, and babies also died. So what they have done, 5 chambers made in 5 days. Initially, it was having 5 days, so total lifespan is 10 days. We have a published paper which says that no, planktonic foraminifera is the order of about at least 6 months. Planktonic foraminifera, based on our sediment trap studies deployed into the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. And I also question those who are working only on the oxygen isotope studies with the development in the mass spectrometry. Now, you can work on one specimen. If you say that this lived only for a week, and with the specimen which you are putting into mass spectrum, which were living in January or whether it was living in June. How you will certify that one? So that actually it is becoming more and more now common. The paleontology has been taken over by the geochemists, or the not even geochemists, chemists. Those who are not paying much attention to the lifespan related questions. They simply take, they imply the school boys, they pick moments of 15, 20 statistics, put into the machine, it will get some data and you can publish it. Unless you have a correct identification guarantee, results should be seen with the reservation.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now we would like to know if there are any more questions from the regions.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I am Rohit from Southern region, sir.
Okay.
Sir, my question is, sir, sir, you have told that the foraminifera is very sensitive to the salinity, sir. Sir,
Not only
but
also
sir,
salinity. They are equally with temperature, pH, everything.
yes, sir,
Yeah.
salinity is the one of
Salinity
the
also.
factors. है ना?
Yes,
Yes,
very well.
Sir, but as we know, sir, the ocean is also very dynamic. Like we have a
Yes,
thermohaline circulation. We have a
yes,
upwelling point where the sea is upwelling, that cold water is
yeah,
upwelling. And also there is a
yes,
variation of the salinity also with respect to the latitudes. So how
yes.
these foramina, how we use this to supplement our data, sir? Because we have to also correct it for these factors also. So how we do that, sir?
Very good. That's why we say that a species which has been studied in other area, there based on their ecology, you immediately need not apply to your area. Recently, we have done one. I think how many of you are aware of mud bank problem of Kerala? Okay, there because there are a lot of papers we say foraminifera as an indicator of upwelling. There are number of planktonic foraminifera which are indicating like bulitis, the upwelling area. So before going for temporal studies, when you start studying the time in any area, better to study the surface water foraminifera first, try to correlate with the prevailing environmental condition, and then we have worked for decades first on the surface sediment before we are applying our results to the core studies. Okay. So that's why I say that whatever has been published in elsewhere, don't apply as such into any area. Do a recurrence survey in your area and then apply. So yeah, not this, many of this water mass movement, lot of papers show that how it has been done in water mass movement. The Delhi school friends, they are showing about how the Pacific water enter into the Bay of Bengal. That also has been done on foraminifera. Actually, foraminifera, if you study its ecology very well, I think most of the problem of marine environment you can answer. But there's no straightforward blind application. You have to study each and area first, and then start applying for interpretation. Distribution should be first.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think we can take one last question if any other regions are there.
See, my email address has been given in my first slide. Otherwise, also I am repeating it. Rajiv, R-A-J-I-V, Rajiv Nigam, 1954 @gmail.com. You are most welcome. If
I
today,
think
if
we have
you have no problem answering any question, you can ask now, or even afterwards also, if you get some question in your mind, feel free to just post the email to me, or you can write a WhatsApp question. I will love to answer because it is the question which make us to think more and more and develop the new application.
Sir, may I?
Sure. Yes,
Sir,
Manjuwal.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Sir,
I
you
was
said that
surprised that how you are keeping quiet so far.
sir,
Benjamin Swami is from Aurangabad and he works on paleontology. Okay.
sir, you said that the foraminifera are so sensitive. What others, other biota which is very near to foraminifera, which is so sensitive, whether it is Astragoda or some other? Number one, and the other is I am supporting you that the relative sea level changes, because you said that the Dwarika is submerged, whereas if you see the Kutch area, it is upwelled, or it is, and there is the reason is tectonism. Sir.
Okay. See, first thing. Okay. Both the questions, one by one. Submergence of land or emergence of land on a large scale is not a short-term phenomenon. As a geology student, you and me both were taught Southern Peninsula is the most stable water mass, land mass.
Yes.
In most of the studies which I told you and which is important for our mankind is last 4 to 5, 6,000 years back. In 5 to 6,000 years, how much entire Arabian Sea you can uplift or you can submerge? Unless there is a very subduction zone like Myanmar coast.
Yes.
Harsh Gupta Saab asked this question in one of my presentations. So I said, sir, this word neotectonics has been very conveniently used for unexplained things. I said, you are a geophysics person. Tell me, Arabian Sea has been uplifted by 1 meter in last 5,000 years or 10,000 years. I will say sea level was not 100 meter, it was 99 meter, or it was 101 meter. Then you tell me how much, so no such studies available. I said, till you tell me as a geophysics, is there any hard evidence how much change is there in neotectonics in last 10,000 years? Allow me to use this. And moreover, one thing which because of less time I didn't say today, if sea level is changing, it will not be much change, whatever at Dwarika or whether it is Cochin or whether it is on East Coast. Okay, almost same time, same depth. Now what we get in Dwarika, about 6 to 8 meter, but the evidence of submerged city. You go to Mahabalipuram, last time I presented it in Pune that work. Mahabalipuram also you get at the same depth the evidence of an ancient structure, which is submerged. That shows there is in last 5,000-6,000 years, more or less sea level has changed. And that is very correct also. Today, now we have Bombay, we have Cochin, we have Chennai, we have Visakhapatnam, all 4 towns. If you increase the sea level by 5 meters, all the city will submerge simultaneously. Isn't it?
Yes.
So, same thing means when Dwarika got submerged, Mahabalipuram also got submerged. One question which nobody is asking, and every time I find that nobody asks this question, whether it is Dhaulavira, whether it is Dwarika, whether it is
Lothal.
all ancient things was happening only in Gujarat. All along Indian coast, nobody was living. There was no other port, no other city, no habitation. Is it possible? Only in Gujarat people were living 5,000-6,000 years back. If that is true, then how Rama's army has invaded Sri Lanka? He raised the army in South India. It means people were living. So you cannot say people were not living. If they are living, where are their evidences of their cities, their ports? 3 reasons. Either nobody was living, which I told you is not possible, or evidence were totally destroyed. That is also very difficult to believe. The last option and the most probable option is we have yet to discover. Gujarat, because some finding is there, all archaeologists, geologists, everybody is jumping to Gujarat. Like, I discovered Bombay, so somebody will say, I discovered Dadar, I discovered Parel, I discovered Matunga, so everybody will go to Bombay. But nobody will come and say, I discovered Ratnagiri or I discovered Calcutta. For that, you have to go to new area. So doing incremental research is always easy option. Going to unknown area, going to forest, applying your own mind, you should have a critical eye to identify that type of research is required. This type of research only for compassion is required. The Banji Walker Sahab, our problem is now we do most of the research to safeguard our job.
Yes.
That's also required. Because if you don't get your promotion, you will stop working altogether. To do some work for your promotion, but some work for the passion. To do something absolutely new, then you will enjoy.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Sir, one last question. Directors.
Okay.
So my question is a very general question. You talked about foraminiferal research. You pointed out some research going on in, say, related areas through geophysics. Some geologists may also be working. Some geochemists are also working. But what is the status of integration of all these kinds of research in our country or in the world? Are we still working in silos, or is there some amount of work where this kind of integration is, as you said, it is required to really prove a model?
I'm thankful to you raise this question. This is what we all feel should be done, or the need of the hour. I don't know about AMD, but I know wherever I work, we don't care what is done in the next room. Forget about the other places. That is the hard real. See, the Lothal is a classical example. What happened without integrated research? Somebody discovered after Mohenjo-daro and Harappa gone to Pakistan, Rao has excavated, and the world's oldest dockyard. We Indians should be very proud of it, that it is within our territory. Now, he says that it was a dockyard, and Professor Sankalia from Deccan College, Pune, he led the school, say, irrigation tank. There are conferences, there are papers, phonographs, 40 years. The controversy was on. Why? Because archaeologists were discussing this problem. Other branch people don't know is there any such problem. And as a matter of pride, India can boast we have the oldest dockyard, if it is a dockyard. When I came to know, I was there as a tourist. When PRL people took me for a sightseeing. First time I came to know about that problem. And as a geologist, it was a 1 or 2 days job, which archaeologists debated for 40 years. So now there is actually need. And what I have done, is still something was remaining, which Anirudh Khatkekar has done with the help of remote sensing. He has seen the Lothal connection to the nearby river, how the Lothal was connected to high tidal rain. Okay, so now a geologist, an archaeologist, a remote sensing man, we all three work different time, but now I integrated all that work into one. And now it is proved, and you know the consequences once you prove integrated way. Government of India is making the 400-acre land the world-class marine cultural heritage complex, the museum. Okay, and this is going to be the biggest tourist attraction in Gujarat. I'm in that committee and the content committee. Now, 40 years back, nobody was believing that it was a dockyard. It was just one of the debated problems. Everybody was confused. Since we have proved it scientifically, now that such a big museum is coming in that area. Okay, Dholavira. Even now we are struggling to make people believe that we have the world's oldest tsunami protection measure, which is 6,000-year-old, world's oldest. And you can still go and see it. Why? Because it was done and visited by only archaeologists. Those who work, they never knew that there is something called tsunami also, which can explain their finding. So integrated approach is the need of the hour, and it is now changing. Things are changing now. At least now I am very happy. People who are working in the minerals now today listening about the ancient climate through microfossils. This is one of the examples you gave me opportunity for that integrated approach. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
This type of things are required. Sometime atomic mineral people should come to oceanography and deliver a lecture on the minerals exploration.
Definitely, dedication is the need of the hour.
Sir,
So, thank you so
sir,
much
I have
for
one clarification.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, you have talked about the number of cities which have submerged in the Goa or the Gujarat coast. So I have
Yes.
something to add, sir. In this one, there is a place called Kavari Pumpatinam, also known as Pumbuvar. It was a
Yes.
flourishing Sangam era port, capital city
Yes.
of Cholas in
Yes.
Tamil Nadu. So it is
Yes.
believed to have been submerged under the Bay of Bengal around
Yeah.
300 BC due to massive tsunami, accelerated coastal erosion, and cyclic sea level rises. So it has been mentioned in the epic, ancient Tamil epics also, Manimegalaya and Silappadigaram. So
Yes.
this is just information, sir. In Bay of
No,
Bengal also there are many cities which
I
have
will
been
add.
submerged.
Good, you have raised this issue.
Yeah, sir.
Two things I will tell you. You may not be aware that Indian marine archaeology started by S.R. Rao. He
Yeah.
retired from Archaeological Survey of India and came to NIO and started, and we all joined with him, helping from our sides. The first attempt to start the marine archaeology was started from the Pumphar. This was in 1980, I think. Okay. And a report and a couple of papers published by NIO scientists. And what we noticed that time was a shipwreck. Into that, we have certain evidence. But what happened? Dr. S.R. Rao started with, the 20,000 rupees grant from INSA. He started marine archaeology. And by sitting at Goa and doing work at Kumbha, logistically, it was very difficult. And one or two cruises will not tell you anything in marine archaeology. We worked 20 years in Dwarka. Then we are now concluded, and Prime Minister now has gone and certified that we have done some work in that area. So Pomphar, we are very much aware that yes, it is a city. It is into the Sangam literature. We have worked into that area, but a very little work. After that, I think Bharati Dasan University has taken one project. Okay, but I have seen their report, and normally I don't comment on somebody else's report. I will not comment on anybody else's research work. But so far, there was no comprehensive curve was available for the east coast of India. Because I am sitting on Goa, so we work mostly on Arabian Sea. Kailash Nayak repeatedly asked me, Rajiv, why can't you put a comprehensive curve for the Bay of Bengal also? But very few points were available. And one person cannot generate for entire Bay of Bengal. So in 2019 now, we have developed a comprehensive curve for me and Lawson. And it is published in 2019 in Geological Society of India. We published Geological Society of India purposely so that it is available to Indian workers. Since no curve was available, East Coast Archaeological Survey had not got that much importance as it should have gotten. Another thing that you gave me an opportunity to elaborate further. Mahabalipuram is one of the very important archaeological sites on the east coast of India. Present temple is made up of charnokite. Okay, you have seen it is badly pitted. Okay, they told it is 1,000-year-old temple. And everybody believes this is the end of the story. But when 2005 tsunami came, have you heard the Selva Kuppam? Those who ask question, can you answer?
No,
Who
sir.
asked question?
No, I'm
Okay, I will.
Jagdishan, regional director from Western regions.
Okay. If you go about 1.5 kilometers north of Mahabalipuram, there is a place called Selvakuppam. Now, Selvakuppam, what happened? The tsunami has eroded the top sand cover. And below that, a remnant of a temple scene. Okay. And then State Archaeological Survey of Tamil Nadu excavated an ancient temple discovered, which was nobody knew. It was buried into the beach. So we thought that if that is true, and there is a 7 pagoda story about this area. Yes, there were 7 temples, something like. So what we did a south of present Mahabalipuram a GPR survey. And GPR survey says that where now the market is there, where people are selling this ornaments made up of shells. The GPR survey says there are buried structures. It's a big discovery in waiting. I think any one of you, if you want overnight, you will be very famous. If more GPR survey is done, if excavation is done, you will find a buried temple in south. Now north is buried temple, south is buried temple, Mahabalipuram is the exposed temple, and we did a offshore area of Mahabalipuram. And 6 to 8 meter we get a remnant of laterite. Laterite is not in that area. Okay, and laterite is a very resistant rock. It means ancient temples everywhere was made up of laterite in this area. So it's a big temple town. I always say it is going to be the Dwarka-like discovery in south. Someone has to take up that one.
Thank you so
And
much.
hardly in archaeologists. So we are trying to establish a institute at local. We have given a proposal. Government of India is accepting almost, where a geologist, geophysicist, surveyor, chemists, biologists, conservatives, divers, all will be appointed. Okay, and that institute will coordinate the marine art. We have 11,000 long kilometer coastline. And in the place of marine archaeology, we talk only about Gujarat. A little bit about Pumpar, or that's all. It means lot need to be discovered. Lot need to be. The exclusive institute is required. A marine archaeological studies. Lot of mineralogists we also need it. Okay, Goa recently we discovered the Gopika Patna. A laterite wall, 3-kilometer long wall has been made. Some other time I will give a lecture on that. So a lot of mineralogical studies are also helping us into the ancient cultural heritage studies.
So I think it goes without saying that we have a very interactive and exciting lecture session today. And a lot of us are inspired. And I think we have a lot of queries also, but because of time constraints, we will be winding up the interactive session now. As we draw to the conclusion of this deeply enriching afternoon, it's my privilege to propose the formal vote of thanks. First and foremost, on behalf of entire AMD and our Science Club, I express our profound gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Rajiv Nigam, for connecting with us virtually today. Thank you, sir, for taking time out of your demanding schedule to share your immense wealth of knowledge with us. Your insights have given our celebration of World Environment Day a truly deep and scientific. We extend our sincere thanks to our respected director, Sri Nilesh Pandey, for his constant encouragement, guidance, and vision that drives the initiatives of Science Club. Our heartfelt thanks goes to Additional Director Research and Development, as well as Chairperson Science Club, Srimati Meenakshi Pudri. Also, thanks are due to Additional Directors Operation 1, Sri S.K. Dash, and Operations 2, Sri Bhaskar Basu, for their valuable suggestion. And thanks are also due to all our regional directors, especially for the seamless coordination of the question and answer session today. We have with us heads of various groups, invited dignitaries, officers, and all those who are present virtually for their presence and patience. We would like to place on record our appreciation to Dr. Chandra Sarbajna, Member Secretary Science Club, for his dedicated efforts in organizing. A special word of thanks goes to PMSC and Instrumentation for ensuring the flawless technical and network execution of this event. We also extend our heartfelt appreciation to EST and Canteen team for their wonderful arrangements and support. Our sincere thanks go to every individual who contributed to ensure the absolute success of the program. To all our participants across the country, thank you for your rapt attention and thoughtful engagement throughout this afternoon. Before we conclude, a brief announcement for our participants here at the headquarters. Tea has been arranged for everyone at Dungeon Lawn. I request you all to kindly move towards the lawn to enjoy a warm cup of tea. Thank you, everyone.